How's it going, everybody? Today we are going to rank all 10 of these Halloween movies. I just got done last Wednesday reviewing all these Halloween movies. I even did a mask ranking, and that's doing pretty well. It's got like over 300 views right now. So if you want to check that out, you can do so right here or right here, whichever side. It's backwards. But yes, we're going to be looking at all the Halloween movies, and I'm only going to be doing like a minute or two, just a couple minutes on each movie. I'm not going to talk at nauseum about every single movie, because I already did that for like 13 minutes each. And if you haven't seen my thoughts on all these movies before, go check that out, and then come to here. And I'll leave a link for that too, somewhere around here, or there, whichever way it goes. I don't know. But I'm going to do my best to keep talking, because I'm sick of all the cutting of this fucking clips, okay? I'm tired of stuttering, alright? And I'm gonna be talking a lot, so I'm gonna be needing a drink. So let's just knock this out of the park. We got 10 movies to cover, and we're gonna go from worst to best, because that's what people normally do. And this is going to be a very interesting ranking, because this is a very diverse franchise. Like, a lot of people have like the same favorites of like Friday or Nightmare, but this is a very unique franchise with different timelines, different masks. You don't see that in the other two of the big three. So this is a very interesting one, and I'm sure I'm going to get some flack. Alright, so just to pre-warn you about my thoughts. I grew up in the 2000s, so Rob Zombie's Halloween gets a little bit more nostalgia to me. And Halloween 4 and 5 were always on TV growing up. I never saw 6 and 7 until way later on. So, just keep that in mind. I do let nostalgia play a little part in my favoritism, but I can still see the flaws in these movies. So, let's go over them, shall we? What is at the bottom of my shit list of this franchise? The one I fucking hate the most, the one I cannot stand, the one that makes my head feel like mush every time I watch it, which is never now. I'm done with it. And that is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. This movie can suck a dick. I fucking hate it. I hate every direction, every new idea they try to insert into this, try to make it feel like this artistic, new visual style of like Myers, no mask, and Laurie's just so fucked up, and she's got all these little flashing image dreams, and she's a bipolar bitch. I don't like the direction they took her character, Loomis's character, the shaky cam, the style, the direction, the new all of it. I hate every single aspect of this movie, except there's like just a couple of good kills. It's very brutal, but that does not save this movie. This movie sucks. It doesn't even have the fucking score in it. It just blows hard, and it's a shit bomb. I said it before, I'll say it till I die. This movie fucking sucks. And I don't understand the people who have this in their top 3. I've seen it. People have this movie in their top 3. How does that happen? Oh, God. But anyways, let's move on to my number 9. Number 9. I believe I have Halloween Resurrection. I've never done rankings before. I did one, actually. I did a Hatchet ranking. So if you want to see that, I'll leave another link for you to click on. I'm gonna get you drunk off my videos. But yes, Halloween Resurrection. What do I like? What don't I like about this movie? Well, to be very quick, fucking asshole Freddy. Just, if you take him out of this movie would be guilty pleasure. But I cannot stand his character. Tanya Banks is so worthless that she dies off camera. Like, they didn't want to waste any time on that character. She's not even a character. She's just there. She's practically a ghost. You see right, she's not even there. She dies off camera. How? We don't know. All these characters are fucking shitty. We got the worst final girl in the franchise. She's somebody who doesn't even want to be there, and you just can tell. And at the end, she said, "This is for everybody. I'm gonna saw you to saw." And it's just so fucking cringeworthy. It's more cringeworthy than the performance I just gave you. It's terrible. She is nobody. She is the worst final girl in this franchise. Worse than Tina. That's right. I said it. At least Tina has some characteristics. She has a personality. This woman doesn't have a personality. She's nameless. I can't even tell you her name. But the mask is good in this movie. The kills are creative compared to H2O, where we were before this movie. This upgrades the kills. They're shot a little bit better. I kind of like the aspect of the whole camera thing on their shoulders. It's a neat aspect. They do like a double Myers thing at one point, and then they kind of quickly kill it off. But this movie being set at the Myers house, the visuals, the atmosphere of the house, it's very good. But the whole kicking Myers' ass thing, fuck you. All right. Number 8. What is my number 8? Well, I'm going to have to check that one out real quick because I don't even remember my list. Aha! Number 8. This is going to shock you guys. Halloween 6. That's right. The Curse of Michael Myers. I do not like the story. The story of this movie brings it all the way down here. I do not like the Thorn idea. I know it's in part 4 and 5 a little bit, but this goes on full Thorn because part 5 kind of hinted at some kind of Thorn cult, so this movie just went full on Thorn, and it took like 6 years for this movie to finally be made. Such a long ass wait for people back then. I feel bad. I'm glad I wasn't around. I would have hated to wait 6 years for this shit. But you get a good Myers mask. The good Myers kills. It's definitely gory. It has a good performance by George P. Wilbur. But I do not like the score in this movie. It's all techno or like guitars and drums. I don't like it. It's just terrible. I don't like the score. They fuck with it way too much. And not as much as H2O. But I'll get to that later. But yeah, the kills, the characters, bland. All of a sudden, we got all these different Strodes now. Like, Laurie has this other family somewhere, or Karen Strode, or whatever her name is. Who are these people? I never met them before. You got a battered wife who just takes shit from the husband. That the biggest dick in the franchise. But I guess to give this movie a couple more compliments. Dark. It's definitely the darkest chapter in this franchise. I can give it that. Donald Pleasance, it gives his final performance, so you can like it because he's in this movie. This movie brought Paul Rudd to stardom. You know, this is his start. This is his first movie. Even though his character is fucking weird in this movie, the way he dresses and acts, just his eyes, and very bad performance. So, yeah, I do not like this movie. Never saw that much. I hate it. It has that 90s feel. I don't like the 90s. I like the 80s better. So, let's move on to my number 7. That's where we're at now. All right, number 7. I'm going to have to give this one to Halloween 5. This is one that people would put at the bottom next to Resurrection. And before I made this video, I used to have this as my number 5. Halloween 5 was my number 5. Now it's my number 7 because I realized that I was going too easy on this movie. All right, I understand the flaws, but one major flaw with this movie that people constantly just hate and always talk about is why is Jamie mute? Why doesn't she talk? Well, the way I interpreted it was that she's like, they showed that she is possessed, like she's connected to Myers, like she's slowly possessed with the evil that Myers has, and Myers doesn't talk, so why the fuck would Jamie? If she's put on this invisible mask that he's putting on, really, you know, she's like imitating him. Well, then she's imitating his muteness. Like, they're both mute. So that kind of makes sense if you can wrap your head around it. But nobody ever brings that shit up. I feel like I'm the only one that's ever made that argument of why she's mute. People are, oh, why? That's why. Maybe. This movie had a lot of writing issues. So maybe that's not the reason, and I just came up with it. I think it's a pretty good damn theory. Don't you agree? But yes, this is probably the first to second worst mask, probably one of the worst. Yes, it's different, but it's kind of grown on me over the years. You get some good kills. This movie was probably one of the first movies in this franchise, and one of the only movies in this franchise that was butchered by the MPAA. This movie came out like in '89, right around the time that Friday 7 and 8 came out, and those were butchered. So then this one was butchered. You didn't get to see that carnage, but you still get the triple prong tool in the guy's face, the scythe, harvest weapons being used in this movie. They do shoot Myers well in some scenes, the atmosphere of the house and the way they keep him in the shadows in that place, and it tries to copy that stalkish vibe in the first one with over-the-shoulder shots and stuff. Doesn't do it nearly as well, and this movie does make the cardinal sin of killing a final girl from the previous film that was beloved by almost everybody, and then replaced by arguably one of the most annoying pieces of shits in this entire franchise. Fuck you, shut up. And yes, this movie does drag in the middle, and it doesn't know what the fuck it wants to do. It just has Myers, and he doesn't know what he wants to do. He's like, do I want to kill this bitch? Nah, I'll just keep driving. Oh, you want to stop for cigarettes? Okay, I'll stop. Really? And then he's crying later and he sheds a tear and it's what the fuck was going on with this movie? I didn't even notice all this shit as a kid. You don't even notice it. You're just waiting for Myers to show up and you're like, yay, there's Myers! And then you watch it 10 years later and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? This is terrible. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that movie. Guilty pleasure. Definitely the guilty pleasure of this franchise. The other ones can suck dicks. I don't care about them at all. Now, let's move on to my number 6, I believe. That's where we're at. Number 6, I believe, is H2O. Now, this movie is the first one that officially says we're going to clean the slate. We're going to ignore everything else that came before it besides the first couple. And it shows Laurie being totally just traumatized. Just completely traumatized by what happened in the first couple of movies. Which is what Rob Zombie tried to do, except he completely demolished that character. But let's not even talk about that again. Fuck that movie. But this movie has the bad idea of fucking up the score complete big time. The score feels like a very cinematic, soft version of it. Dun, 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 dun. I hate it. I fucking hate it. Myers doesn't kill anybody for like 45 minutes. It's like him going to California. I don't like the setting, but I understand why it's necessary. It's like the Child's Play 3 of this franchise. It's a boarding school. And it's not a very Halloween atmosphere. It doesn't feel like a Halloween movie, and this movie came out in the summer, so it's definitely not a Halloween movie. Like, if you're just watching this movie and you didn't know what the fuck it was when you turned it on, you probably wouldn't even think it's a horror movie until Myers finally shows up. And then the mask. Yeah, this movie uses 4 different masks. They use a CGI mask, which any person that has a logical working brain would be like, well, if we don't have the mask, let's just not shoot the fucking scene at all. We don't need to use CGI. Fuck that. Over the shoulders. Do something else. You don't need to show his face. The CGI face. What were they thinking? I don't understand what person would have thought, this is a good idea. Let's just use CGI. People won't notice. You get one interesting kill, and that's it. Everything else is just stab. Although that could be a negative for the first movie, but the first movie is so awesome in its execution that you don't even care about the kills. The kills aren't necessary in that movie. But in this movie, there's just so much time in between. And this is also the shortest movie of this franchise, but it still feels long because of all that boringness in the middle. And then this is the first one with a rapper in it who's just reading all this porno stuff that he's writing. It just feels unnecessary. It's not an interesting aspect of the character at all. It doesn't come into play. It's not important at all. But yeah, and you get probably the worst performance of any Myers. This is my least favorite Myers portrayal. If I do a Myers portrayal ranking, I doubt I will, but if I do, Chris Duran is at the bottom. I don't like his hunching his head forward thing that he tried to add to this character. I wasn't a fan of it. Number 5, Halloween 3. A few months ago, before I finally rewatched this movie again, this was at my very bottom because it doesn't have Myers in it. But this movie is very creative and it just goes places that other horror movies wouldn't go. It has a guy who wants to murder children across the whole fucking nation. And this movie is also shot and paced very well. It just keeps you entertained. It makes you ask questions at the beginning. It has all kinds of like what the fuck moments. And it's like it gets you invested in a way that's better than Tom Atkins' character. He's invested in this story in what happened to this girl's father only because he wants to get laid. That's a ballsy decision to make us follow this character whose only motivation is to get fucking his dick wet and have sex with this girl who's honestly not a good actress. I didn't like her performance. And she does look like an alien throughout the movie. She has those bug eyes from Mars Attacks, that movie, if you know what I'm talking about. And people always go, was she an alien the whole time? Was she filled with goo? No. She got captured. It's pretty fucking obvious if you ask me. But I just like the whole concept, and I wish we would have saw where this would have went. This movie's biggest problem is the title. Just take Halloween 3 out of it. Call it Season of the Witch or call it Halloween Season of the Witch, and you got yourself a really good movie. Creepy score, very good score. Gory kills, eyes gouged out, head ripped off, face peeled open. It's very good, very gory, and it's very, very unique. I like it. I don't like the jingle. The jingle is very annoying, but this is a very unique concept. It came out like, 1 year right after the second one? They made it very quick. Tommy Lee Wallace directed it, and It feels like it was actually directed by John Carpenter in a way. Like it looks like he took notes from John Carpenter. But there are some like just middle fingers to the face. If you were watching this movie at theaters expecting Myers, they throw Myers in this movie 2 times on TV just to kind of like in your face, just like, haha, this is what you were expecting, but you didn't get it. And then Laurie's voice is like on an intercom. And then you got the actress Miss Loomis. I think that's her actual last name. She's Annie in the first one. She plays the wife of Atkins in this movie. So all these like little homages to the first one that kind of just poke you in the eye, like, haha, you don't get Myers. But yes, this is a movie that gets shitted on, and it shouldn't be shitted on. You should watch it. Give it another shot. But let's move on to my number 4. My number 4 is going to go to Halloween 2. I've been talking so much. I don't usually talk this much. Alright, let's talk about this movie, shall we? What does this movie do wrong? Well, Dick Warlock, that's for sure. He turns Myers into a complete fucking zombie. But it's still my number 4. I mean, come on. His performance, I don't know what they were thinking. Like, they made him a complete fucking supernatural monster. The question, the first one is like, is he supernatural? Is he human or not? They kind of walk a line. But in this movie, he gets shot in both eyeballs with a fucking 44 Magnum. And just he's like, sheesh, I'm still okay though. I just can't see. Oh, God. Makes no sense. And even Dick Warlock himself hates this fucking scene. And I understand. It makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, was that, what, fucking 22 version of a 44 Magnum? It made no sense. Even as a kid, I never understood that. Even as a child, my brain was developed enough to be like, holy fuck, this guy just got shot in the eyes and the bullet didn't go through his brain and kill him. Who is this guy? It made no sense. But yeah, that's just my major fucking... And I hate Laurie when she's in that parking lot. And she clearly can yell. There's no reason not to believe she can't. To believe she can't. She should be able to yell for help. And when help is right fucking there, she's... And then the door's shut and then she's like, help! It's too fucking late, you bitch. Why didn't you yell before? Seriously. But the kills are upgraded from the first one. This movie went from, the scary first one to just the slasher second one. This one tried to be the slasher because it came out like in 81. A lot more horror movies were coming out and everybody had up the stakes, up the gore because that's what it's all about now. Which, I'm guilty of. I'm a slasher fan, so I like gore. The kills are creative in this movie. They're good. A couple of them are just random ass kills that don't even need to be here. Like, he just skips these 2 old people at the beginning and then goes for this random teenage woman and then kills the piece of shit the guy, security guard, whatever the hell his title is. He's security guard. Just a bunch of random kills just to get to Laurie. And Laurie is just basically a side character in this movie. Let's be honest. She's like in the side, just out in the distance. And then we get this revelation about the motivation that just shits all over the first movie. I said it all before. It just shits all over that motivation of no motivation. It's a better motivation to not have one in Halloween 1, and then they give one, and it's not even revealed to Laurie. It's not even revealed to her, so it's like pointless information. And where did he have time to go to school and write Samhain or where the fuck on the chalkboard with his own blood? Why did he do that? He was in prison for 15 years when he was 6 years old. You start learning how to read and write when you're 6. Did they teach him how to read and write in fucking Smith's Grove? Why would they waste their time? He's there for life, isn't he? So many fucking flaws. But it's saying something that it's number 4 because that just means everything else just got worse and worse and worse. Not all of them. Not all of them. But that's just my number 4. Alright. My number 3 is going to go to Halloween. Rob Zombie's Halloween. This is basically just a recreation, modern, shaky cam version. I mean, it has some shaky cam, but Rob Zombie does hold it still in the second act at Smith's Grove. It's like it goes from shaky cam to just normal, and then shaky cam again towards the end. But I like the kills in this movie. I like Tyler Mane as Michael Myers. I enjoy the atmosphere in this movie versus the atmosphere of the original. This movie basically does rip off the first one, but it just adds and tweaks a few things, just a little different aspects. Adds a couple more bodies, just to add a couple more bodies. I enjoy the theatrical cut, alright? Not the fucking director's cut breakout scene. Alright, I do not need to see rape. Alright, I don't need to watch that. This is bullshit. It's not even necessary. It makes no sense. No one wants to rape somebody next to Michael Myers. It's a fucking piss poor idea. Who the hell would think of that? And I would not be fair if I didn't criticize the first act dialogue. The very opening dialogue of this movie is fucking horrendous. It is basically a bunch of skull fucking and flap titties and yeah, bunch of pumping cum out of stomachs. Yeah, it's nasty. It's nasty shit. But the Myers in this movie, the atmosphere, the kills, the horror alumni we get in this movie, and my nostalgia for seeing it after it came out, I was young, makes it my number 3. So, there you go. Don't hate me. Number 2. That's gonna go to Halloween 4. This was the return of Michael Myers. It's literally in the title, The Return of Michael Myers. Now, the biggest problem that this movie had was just a couple of things. The mask. Big thing right there. They completely messed up on the mask. It's way too white. It just takes away any expression whatsoever. And it takes away the seriousness. Like, you can't take him too serious. When you look at him, you're just like kind of smiling. Wow, you look kind of stupid, Myers. It's not even intimidating like he is in the first one. But he does fuck some people up. The kills are very good in this one. The thumb in the forehead, the whole shotgun barrel going through the chest, the guy getting his throat ripped out like Dalton does the people in Roadhouse, almost taking his head off. You got a lynch mob in here. It's kind of hokey, and especially that priest that picks up Loomis. This is probably the better Loomis adaptation, like the best Loomis we get in this franchise, where he's actually somewhat helpful. He's trying to get to Myers before he gets to Haddonfield, but he doesn't succeed. And then this movie has a blonde hair Myers in one scene. Come on, how can you fuck up that bad? Was that the first day of shooting, or did they just not have the mask that day? Or did somebody throw that shit in the washer with bleach? Like, what the hell happened? And then this is also the introduction to Danielle Harris as an actress. A child actress is like her start, and she's an adorable character. That awesome duo dynamic relationship between her and her stepsister or foster sister or whatever. Kind of like that relationship you get in Child's Play 2 between Andy and Christy or whatever her name was. I like that aspect of this movie. Rachel, good final girl. And the third act at the house after they escape and then run his ass over and he gets all shot. And then Danielle Harris is revealed to be the next Myers. And then you get that reaction from Donald Pleasance. The best ending in this franchise, by far. Even better than the original. Like, probably right up next to it. Because, yeah, I would say it's probably right up there next to the best ending in the franchise. I would say so. Wouldn't you agree? But yeah, I would also say that this one probably has the most Halloween feel and vibe to it, too. And I enjoy the score in this movie. Score's back. Not as disco-ish as the second movie. Changed it. I don't know why they changed the score in this fucking franchise. They didn't change the ch-ch-ch. And Friday the 13th, they didn't change that. It was always that. They didn't update it anytime and go They didn't change it. It was always the same fucking thing. But Halloween chose a different route. Let's just keep updating it. No, keep it the same. Let's keep updating the mask too while we're at it. No, keep it the same. It's a mask. Put it in a fucking chest, in a vault, inside a bigger vault, inside another vault. Just keep it locked up until you make another movie and then use it again. You know, it's not that hard. Seriously, it's not fucking rocket science. But anyways, let's move on to my number 1. You saw this coming before you clicked on the video. If I said anything else, there'd be pitchforks and mobs knocking on my door. Halloween 1, John Carpenter, 1978. This movie is, if you're a child, probably the most boring of them because of its execution. It's not supposed to be a slasher. It's just supposed to be a thrilling guy who's hunting down babysitters for no fucking reason. No motivation. Just the way that John Carpenter executes it. The Dean Cundy lighting we get. And then one scene where he stabs him. Just best kill in the whole franchise. Pins him up there. Looks at him with that curiosity of a child. Because he never really grew up, so he's basically just a child at heart. Myers, maybe, I don't know. He's just looking at him. You got that lighting coming in. They keep him in the shadows, and when he's like close, and then when he's far away, he's in the light. But he's never like up close in the light. So it keeps him more mysterious, more mystique. Like I like that. So yeah, they just keep him in the shadows. You got just simple over the shoulder shots of just giving that stalkish vibe of him just stalking these girls. No reason. Just because they're the first people he saw after he broke out. That's it. And it's just a very simple executed movie, and it's done well. That opening shot, the whole like 3 to 5 minute just walking around the whole house, that POV, one of the best opening shots of any movie. Seriously. It's right up there. And not to mention, this is the best mask. It has the perfect definition, the best expression of nothing. Not too much nothing like Halloween 4, and not too much expression like Resurrection. It's the best mask, and I don't know why they couldn't replicate it after this movie. Like, seriously, it's not rocket science. But yeah, this is also just one of the best classic movies you'll ever see. It's the movie that started like the slasher genre. After this, we got Jason and all those others, just one sequel movies, Burning and Maniac and The Prowler, and you got all the Jasons, the Freddys, all that shit came after this. So it's like, it started like this horror movie craze. So this is like known as like the Godfather of horror. So how could you not put it as your number one? Not to mention the score. Yeah, I've been talking about how that's a negative and all the other ones. It's a major positive in this one. It's so simplistic and it's at its best. And I don't use it again in the further movies. And I don't understand that. But yeah, there's just, I don't know why they couldn't just keep using that damn score. It's, ugh, pissed me off. But yeah, this is seriously the best movie of the franchise. It was a movie that was intended to be its own, and it wasn't intended to keep going. It walks that fine line between is he supernatural, is he human? I shot him 6 times and he's still alive. Maybe because you shot him in the shoulder a bunch, you fucking dumbass. Shoot him in the heart or face. But yeah. But anyways, that's my ranking of the Halloween franchise. My official ranking. Some of them could change sometime in the future, maybe between 5 and 6, or number 7 and 5. I mean, things could change. But as for now, this is how I stand. How do you stand? Put your rankings in the comments below. And if you're a fan of ranking videos or horror movie reviews, then this is the channel for you. If you're not a subscriber, I do rankings and horror movies and new movies that come out that I am interested in seeing. You can find all that content here. So if you enjoy this at all, you can hit that like button and subscribe by clicking on my beautiful cartoon face in 5 seconds for more. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen. Yeah.